All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy White Week. Over break, I'm just going to ask that you finish a few of the activities that we looked at in class. So first off, we looked at this. So this was our quadrant introduction, so just getting a feel for how to use the quadrats. And if you looked, each group had a zone, so we're asked to figure out the total number of squares, okay, covered by each of our species. And we had like a grass, a clover, and then the plant with the little flowers with the smaller leaves, like almost teardrop shaped leaves. And then I think D was the plant that had the very round leaves. So we're trying to total them up, figure out how many complete squares it covers, and then put together the pieces to make as many whole squares as possible. Then we're doing that percent calculation. So that means the percent cover out of the total number of squares. And I believe we were looking at a 5 by 5 quadrant, so there should be 25 squares total. And then it asks for this AFCOR score. So that is located on your book in 139, and I took a picture of it. So let's see. So your book has this AFCOR scale in it. It is simply just a way to, in a way, simplify, in my opinion. So I think it's a way to simplify the quantity that you're looking at. So the percent cover then comes in different ranges, and then you'll get like a descriptive word and a score, so a numerical score to go with it. This could be helpful if you just have a lot of data that you're trying to process, and when you get to a statistical analysis, it might be helpful as well just to have it in some quantifiable scale like this. As well as, it becomes a pain in the butt to try to put together lots and lots of different squares over and over again, so this just helps to simplify that work as well. Then, once we get this, it just asks us some simple questions about what patterns do we see, if we see any. So make sure that you're not procrastinating when you get your data out there so that we can just take a look at it and see if there's anything we notice. What would we do to improve the accuracy of our results? So if we wanted to see if the distance from the tree actually impacted the type of organisms that live there, then what should we do to improve the accuracy? Okay, as we just did one transect, so think about what else we could do. Then how do we know if our data is significant? So how do we know if this is good, or if it means anything, or if it's just meaningless? And then 4, if you're thinking about an actual study, so if you wanted to do an actual study, just going out and doing the transects might be good kind of base data, but then we want to figure out like some other connection. So you wouldn't normally just be wandering around trying to figure out simply if life varied at different distances from a tree. You'd probably have a goal in mind for some reason. Maybe there was something you were trying to establish. Maybe you wanted to garden that area, or maybe you were looking for, I don't know, the perfect soil location for a certain type of organism, but you want some other factors to be involved. And in fact, some trees, and pine trees, are known for changing the soil quality under their canopies. So when they drop their needles, they actually make the soil more acidic, which is something that could be studied in a lab environment. So it would be interesting to incorporate an additional factor such as pH, etc., just so you're making more of a comparison between different elements and making your work more meaningful. So at the bottom, it's thinking about making now a comparison study, so now just a quadrant study. So I need to think about, if you have 2 different zones, what type of study would you conduct? Really look back at the notes and think about how you'd select the locations and which type of materials you might want, etc. So this actually should not take very long, so I might add a couple little other practice things for you. I'm going to give you some really short IB ESS practice questions from a past exam. So that should just take, it's only going to be a couple questions anyway, so just take your time to try and look at it and put the best information that you can. And then I will upload an additional quadrant practice sheet so that you can take a look at that as well. And this really is super quick, so don't let this bog you down. Just make sure you're thinking about it, writing it down, and I'll upload the other practice for you guys to take a look at. Okay, have a great break. Bye.